Hello, this is Joe, MTL Vintage Cards, bringing you Game 6 of the 1962 New York Mets expansion season replay. This game is played using inside pitch to roll and get the results off camera, and we're capturing the statistics here on PC Replay Baseball. So before I go on and show you the Mets record as a spoiler, you can stop it here and watch the games in order from the beginning. But here goes. The 0-5 Mets will face the 3-1 Cardinals. All other games besides the New York Mets are simmed using the simulator from PC Replay Baseball. Here are the starting lineups for the St. Louis Cardinals. Don Landrum will play center field, leading off. Julian Javier will play second base. Batting third is the first baseman, Bill White. Hall of Famer Stan Musial will clean up and play left field. Ken Boyer, the slick fielder, playing third base, batting fifth. Gene Oliver will do the catching, batting sixth. Batting seventh is the right fielder, Doug Clemens. Batting eighth is the shortstop, Julio Gotay. And batting ninth is the pitcher, Larry Jackson. For the New York Mets, leading off is Felix Mantilla. He'll play short. Elio Chacon will bat second, play second. Gus Bell will patrol right field, batting third. Frank Thomas will play left field. He'll clean up. Jim Marshall will play first base. I don't have a Bobby Smith card, as you saw from the previous game. Jim Hickman will patrol right field, batting seventh. Don Zimmer will bat seventh. He'll play third base. Hobie Landreth will do the catching, batting eighth. And the starting pitcher will be Sherman Jones. One moment while I take a swig of water. And we get going. So Sherman Jones, in real life, 0-4 with a 7.71 ERA. Here you see his current season replay stats. And he'll face Don Landrum. Landrum in 1962, 1 home run, 18 RBIs. Swing and a miss, strike three for Don Landrum, and we're underway. Julian Javier in 1962, 263, 7 home runs, 39 RBIs with 26 steals. And Javier hits a fly ball at Thomas. And Thomas misplays it. That's over his head. And that's rattling around in the left center field power alley. The speedy Julian Javier rounding second over to third with a stand-up triple. So a stand-up triple with 1 out for Julian Javier. Casey Stengel's team, they're 0-5. He knows it's early, but they'll still call the infield in on Bill White. So White hit .324 in 1962, 20 home runs, and 102 RBIs. Again, the infield is in. Swing and a miss, strike three, Sherman Jones. That was a clutch strikeout. That's the second strikeout in the early going. And the cleanup hitter, Stan Musial, who hit .330 with 19 home runs and 82 RBIs. And Musial will hit a ground ball to Jim Marshall. He'll take it to the bag himself for the third out of the inning. So a triple by Julian Javier went for naught as we head into the bottom of the first inning. Larry Jackson, this is his third game. He has a 1-0 record with an ERA of 4. And in real life, Larry Jackson had 35 starts, 1 relief appearance, 16-11 record with a 3.75 ERA. He'll face Felix Mantilla. Mantilla, 275, 11 home runs, 59 RBIs in the actual season stats. And Mantilla draws a leadoff walk from Larry Jackson. So will this be the game that the Mets break the schneid and go on to win? Elio Chacon. Chacon, 236, two home runs, 27 RBIs. Chacon facing Larry Jackson. And Chacon draws a walk. So Jackson walks his first two batters. Incidentally, in real life, the Cardinals didn't win this game. They walloped the Mets 15-5. So Gus Bell hit 241 with 6 home runs, 30 RBIs. Bell hits it to Stan Musial. Can Musial get to it? He's coming in, sinking line drive, and he makes the catch. Excuse me for that. No, that's a fly ball to center. So that was a big play by Stan Musial. Caught the ball right off of his shoe tops. Frank Thomas, the cleanup hitter. He's off to a slow start, batting just 158. In real life, 34 home runs, 94 RBIs. And Jackson throws to Thomas, who grounds it to second. Javier's only play is at first. So the runners move up to second and third for Jim Marshall. And Marshall, 4 for 10 in the early going. Marshall, fly ball to Musial again. Musial's been busy. This one is a much easier play. He makes the play for the third out of the inning. Scoreless go the Mets in their half of the first inning. Sherman Jones, this will be his first of only 3 starts this year, but he only pitched 23 innings in real life. I imagine he disappeared shortly after this and another couple of starts. So Ken Boyer is the next hitter. Boyer has plenty of power, 24 home runs, 98 RBIs, and a terrific fielder to boot. And left field, Thomas has it. Into the corner it goes. Rounding first to second is Boyer, and he's there with a leadoff double. So Boyer's on at second with nobody out for Gene Oliver. Oliver in 1962. 258 with 14 home runs, 45 RBI. So plenty of pop for a catcher. And that's a fly ball to Thomas for out number 1. Doug Clemens is the next batter. Clemens in limited duty, 237, 1 home run, 12 RBIs for Sherman Jones. And that's a ground ball to Chacon. Over to first, as that's the only play. So 4-3. Chacon was tempted to throw it to third base to get Boyer out, but thought better of it. 7th place hitter, my apology. No, 8th place hitter, Julio Gotay. Or Gotay, I'm not sure how that's pronounced. 2 home runs and 27 RBIs in 1962. And Gotay hits it to Thomas. Thomas running in, and he makes the play, saving a run. For out number 3. Scoreless go the Cardinals. To the bottom of the second we go. Jim Hickman on the season so far, 3 for 9. In real life, 13 home runs, 46 RBIs. Hickman hits a fly ball to Musial. Boy, that part of the outfield has been busy so far. And that's out number 1. Don Zimmer is the next hitter. Zimmer will move on to the Reds later this season. 213 in real life. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 for Zimmer. 2 up, 2 down for the catcher, Hobie Landreth. Landreth, 236. Off to a 4-for-7 start so far this year. And that ball gets by Julian Javier. And Landreth is 5 for 8. That's a single. 2-out single for Hobie Landreth. For the pitcher, and that's a single. Stopping at second. Let's see if he has enough wheels. Oh, he makes it to third. First and third. And with 2 out, the Mets have some life with Felix Mantilla. Mantilla hits a ball to Boyer. He scoops it up, flips it to Javier for out number 3. So in 2 innings, the Mets leave 4 runners on base. Top of the third, we are scoreless for Larry Jackson. Jackson, he sort of could handle the bat. 169 for a pitcher. And Jackson hits the ball to Mantilla. Mantilla throws it over to Jim Marshall for the first out of the inning. Turns over the order, Don Landrum. He struck out his first time up. And Landrum gets hit by Sherman Jones. He'll trot to first base. He couldn't get the lead. He is a threat to steal, but could not get the lead. Julian Javier, who tripled his first time up. That's blocked at the plate. Good block by Landreth. And that's a fly ball to Thomas. Thomas has it. He makes the play for out number 2. 2 out with Landrum still on first base for Bill White. Bill White struck out his first time up. And White hits it to Jim Marshall. Slick fielder makes the play. He throws it to Sherman Jones covering for the third out of the inning. Heading to the bottom of the third inning, we are scoreless. Elio Chacon, he walked his first time up. And that's ball 1. Chacon hits the ball past the diving Javier, and we have a leadoff single. So again, the Mets have something going. Chacon could not get the lead. And Gus Bell is up. Gus Bell, he hit a fly ball to left his first time up. This time he grounds it to second. Over to Gote for 1. Over to first, not in time. A fielder's choice. 4-6 is the play. Frank Thomas, he grounded to second baseman Javier his first time up. And Thomas will grind to Boyer. Over to second for 1 to Javier. Over to first. Double play. Inning-ending double play. 5-4-3 around the horn. And the Mets are out of the inning. Top of the fourth. We are still scoreless. Stan Musial. He grounded to Jim Marshall in his previous at-bat. And Sherman Jones, statistically, you would think that he'd get rocked, and right now he's standing on his head. Just as I say that, Stan Musial strokes a single to right. Gathering the ball is Gus Bell, fires it into the infield. A leadoff single for Stan Musial. The hit and run play is being called. And that's a single to right. Gus Bell has it. Rounding second, heading to third is Stan Musial. And just like that, genius is the manager. Runners onto corners with nobody out for Gene Oliver. Gene Oliver, he hit a fly ball to Frank Thomas his first time up. Casey Stengel is calling the infield back. And Oliver lines it to first. Boyer is off the bag, and Marshall tags him out. What a clutch play. So, unassisted, here's how you score it. Unassisted play as a line out. So quickly there are 2 out. Oh, that couldn't have come at a better time. Doug Clemens with 2 out, and Musial at third. And Clemens draws a walk. So we have runners at the corners again for Julio Gotay. What will KC do? What's wrong with my mouse? There we go. Sorry about that. My mouse battery. So when you're 0-5 and you're Casey Stengel and you want to be in the run-limiting business, Casey's going to intentionally walk Gotay with the bases loaded to face the pitcher Larry Jackson. And that's a dribbler in front of the plate. Landreth scoops it up, throws it over to first for out number 3. The Mets avert a disaster there. Bottom of the 4th. Larry Jackson will face Jim Marshall, Jim Hickman, and Don Zimmer. Jim Marshall is 0 for 1 so far this game, and he grounds it to Bill White. White will take it to the bag himself, and that's out number 1. Center fielder Jim Hickman. Hickman, fly ball right field. And sensational catch by Clemens for the second out of the inning. He ranged and he made the play, avoiding extra bases. So 2 out for Zim. Zim struck out his previous time up. And Zim will line it to Ken Boyer for the 3rd out of the inning. To the top of the 5th, we are scoreless. Top of the order, and Don Landrum. Landrum is 0 for 1, and he got hit by a pitch. Landrum hits the ball past Mantilla into left field, single, a leadoff single for Don Landrum. Landrum is a threat to steal, but he couldn't get the lead. Julian Javier fly ball to Thomas for out number 1. Bill White. Bill White is 0 for 2 so far this game. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. His second time strikeout for White. There are 2 out with the leadoff hitter of the inning, Don Landrum, still at first for cleanup hitter Stan Musial. And Musial fly ball. Jim Hickman is there for out number 3. So somehow, some way, Sherman Jones is keeping the Cardinals scoreless through 5. It'll be Larry Jackson, the pitcher, and Felix Mantilla. So Landreth, fly ball, left field, Musial, easy play for him, and that's out number 1. Now Sherman Jones, he faces 21 batters before he gets tired. He's faced 22. But what do you do when you're pitching a shutout? You hit, and that's what he'll do. He singled his first time up, you may recall. And he'll single a second time up. Unbelievable. A single past Javier. And Sherman Jones is on first. Felix Mantilla. And Jackson uncorks a wild pitch. Trotting over to second is Sherman Jones with 1 out. And Mantilla hits a fly ball to Don Landrum. Shallow fly ball, and that's out number 2. Elio Chacon, he walked and singled his previous 2 times up. And Chacon, swing and a miss, strike 3. Down go the Mets. And we are scoreless as we head into the top of the 6th inning. Ken Boyer. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and Sherman Jones. Unbelievable. So Sherman Jones now faces a strikeout. Sherman Jones will face Gene Oliver, who's 0 for 2 in the game. And Oliver hits it, a little dribbler to Zimmer. He comes in charging, fires it to Marshall for the 2nd out of the inning. 2 out for Don Clemens. And that ball gets by Chacon into right field. A 2-out single for Clemens. That's St. Louis's 6th hit of the game. Julio Gotay is the next hitter. Gotay will ground it to Jim Marshall. He'll take it to the bag himself, and that's the 3rd out of the inning. We are scoreless as we head into the bottom of the 6th inning for Gus Bell, Frank Thomas, and Jim Marshall. Gus Bell hits it to left field. Musial can't get to it, and it's a leadoff single. That's the 5th hit of the game for the Mets, and the 1st for Gus Bell. Frank Thomas. Thomas hit a fly ball deep to center field. Landrum, he can get to it. It's over his head. Heading for second, going to third is Bell. He's being waved. He's coming in. Here's the throw. Here's the play at the plate. And Gus Bell scores with Frank Thomas headed to third. So it's a double. He scores and he goes to third. Double to center. There, okay. So double, Bell scores, Thomas to third. So suddenly the Cardinals are in trouble. Frank Thomas on third base, nobody out. Let's check Larry Jackson's freshness. So Larry Jackson has a ways to go. He's good for 31 batters. He's only faced 22, so he's going to continue. The infield will be called in. And that ball single past the drawn in infield, past Gotay. And it's 2-0 for the Mets. Will this be the game that they break off the schneid? So Hickman is up. That's a ground ball to Boyer. Over to second for one. Over to first. Double play. Another around the horn 5-4-3 double play. That's the second in the game. Quickly, there are 2 out for Don Zimmer. Zimmer hits it to Julian Javier. He's got it. Makes the play. Diving to his left. Over to first. But the Mets break the scoreless tie, scoring 2 runs on RBIs by Frank Thomas and Jim Marshall. To the top of the 7th, Larry Jackson's being called back for a pinch hitter. And the pinch hitter will be let's see. Let's see who we have here. The pinch hitter will be the switch hitting Red Schoendienst, as they're looking to, the Cardinals are looking to get some offense going. So on the season, in real life, Schoendienst in limited play hit .301. And Schoendienst gets hit by the pitch, so that's the second hit batsman by Sherman Jones. I think that Casey has seen enough. Casey wants to win this game. Sherman Jones is the second hitter in the inning, so he'll make the double switch. Here's how we make the double switch in this. So you you use this arrow here. So out comes Zimmer, and the pitcher spot will occupy. The pitcher spot will occupy where Don Zimmer would hit. So that means whoever is going to play third base whoever's going to play third base, that'll be Charlie Neal. So Charlie Neal will play third base, and he'll bat in Sherman Jones's spot. And then we'll go to the bullpen, and we'll choose a pitcher and insert him where Don Zimmer was. And let's see. There really isn't a lot here. We used more Davio last game. Let's go with Bob Moorhead. So Moorhead we'll hit here. Charlie Neal will play third base. And we're done. Just like that. So runner on first, nobody out for Moorhead. You see Neal is now at third base, replacing Zimmer. So Landrum, we know we've already looked at him. He hit .286. Bob Moorhead, in real life, 4.53 ERA with an 0-2 record. He had 7 starts and a bunch of relief appearances. And that's a ground ball to Jim Marshall. Jim Marshall, does he have the range? Yes, he does. He makes the play. Fires it to Mantilla for 1. Over to first, not in time. So Landrum is on a fielder's choice for Julian Javier. Javier, fly ball, Jim Hickman is there, and that's out number 2. For Bill White. Swing and a miss, strike 3, Bill White. And Moorhead comes in to spell Sherman Jones. What did I do there? That was a strikeout. Okay. The Cardinals will need a pitcher. The Cardinals will bring in Lindy McDaniel, their reliever. So McDaniel in 1962, 3-10, 14 saves with a 4.12 ERA. McDaniel will face Landreth, Charlie Neal, and Felix Mantilla. Landreth, fly ball to Landrum. Landreth to Landrum. Out number 1. Charlie Neal. So Neal hit 260 in 1962 with 11 home runs, 58 RBIs. He is 2 for 14 in the young season, excuse me. And that's a single past Boyer into left field. A 1-out single for Charlie Neal. Felix Mantilla, he's 0 for 2 with a walk in this game. Mantilla, ground ball to Javier. His only plays at first. That was a slow roller. That's out number 2. Over to second goes Charlie Neal for Elio Chacon. Chacon, a dribbler in front of Boyer. He tries to throw it first, not in time. An infield single for Elio Chacon. And that's the Mets' 9th hit of the game. Gus Bell is up, facing McDaniel. And Gus Bell grounds it to Javier. He flips it to Gauthier for the 3rd out of the inning. Bob Moorhead coming in, 2nd inning of work. In the 8th inning, he'll face Musial, Boyer, and Oliver. And that's a single. Past Mantilla into left field. And that's Musial's 2nd hit of the game. Ken Boyer is the next hitter. And Boyer, he lines it to first, scrambling back as usual. He lines it to the pitcher for out number 1. Gene Oliver, he's looking for his first hit of the game. Swing and a miss, strike 3. For Doug Clemens, 2 out for Doug Clemens. That's ball 1. That's a ground ball to Chacon. He throws it over to first for the 3rd out of the inning. To the bottom of the 8th. The Mets leading 2-0. Will this be their first win? They'll have to get through the cleanup hitter and a few more before we see that. So the first pitch is ball 1. And then it's a ground ball to Julian Javier. Thomas is out. 4-3. And Thomas is 1 for 4 in the game. Jim Marshall is up. He's 1 for 3 with an RBI. Marshall hits a ground ball to short. Gauthier is there. He makes the play. That's out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for the center fielder, Jim Hickman. And Hickman hits a ground ball to Javier. He makes the play, and that's out number 3. Quickly go the Mets. And Casey is, let's see, Moorhead is good for 10 batters. He'll face Gauthier, the pitcher, and then Landrum. So Moorhead is being called back. and Craig Anderson will come in. Anderson on the season, 3-17 with a 5.35 ERA, but he does have 4 saves. Let's see if he can hold at bay. Hold the Cardinals at bay. Fly ball, left field, deep. Frank Thomas is there. He makes the play. Out number 1. Obviously, Lindy McDaniel will not hit. The pinch hitter will be Kurt Flood. I know it's right against right. This time, you just need somebody to get on base. In 1962, Flood was a .296 hitter with 12 home runs and 70 RBIs. And Flood swing and a miss, strike 3. Big strikeout for Craig Anderson. The Cardinals are down to their final out, and Don Landrum. Landrum is 1 for 3 with a hit batsman. Landrum, fly ball, right field. When this ball comes down, this will be the Mets' first win of the season. Gus Bell puts the squeeze on it for out number 3, and the Mets win in fine fashion, 2-0. They are now 1-5, and the Cardinals fall to 3-2. Let's look at the box score. The Cardinals, no runs, 7 hits, no errors, 7 left on base. The Mets, 2 runs, 9 hits, no errors, 7 left on base. The winning pitcher, Sherman Jones, he's 1-1. The loser, Larry Jackson, he's also 1-1. And Craig Anderson picks up the franchise's first save. This was a very exciting game. What a contrast to the real-life score where it was 15-5. I hope you enjoyed this. Please consider subscribing, leaving a comment. I thank you very much. I hope to see you during Game 7. Merci beaucoup. Have a nice day.